Hello, this is Miss Candy from TPOT Media. Welcome to Dark Exodus.
Sometimes it's just a few who are speaking the truth. The truth catches fire, and that's what's happening now.
To a child who doesn't read, the world is a closed book.
Here comes X. Think about this.
This is X from the Prophet of Thought series. You know,
The protester.
and I'm back with another.
Dark Exodus.
And the darkness continues, literally, or should I say, illiterally. It used to be a time when you could hear PSAs about reading, learning, things that at the very least gave people the hope that our children could be smarter, more successful, greater achievers, if nothing else, have a greater capacity for thinking. But as we have seen, looking at statistics, the young brothers and sisters are lagging in the one thing we should at least have the basic grasp of: reading. Only about 20% of our children in 4th grade are proficient in reading. Now we can talk about how culturally biased the educational system is in America. We can talk about the white power structure and its effect on black people. You know, but I find it hard to believe that this has anything to do with a person's ability to read a book, read a sign, or read the writing on a billboard. Let us be clear. Knowing how to read is something you are going to need to have in your back pocket for most things. Yeah, I know, the 1 out of 1,000 people that we know who couldn't read and write was able to carve out some type of life for themselves. But what about the other 999? What were they able to do? What were they able to carve out? And what kind of life did they have when they were young? What kind of life did they have when they got old? Was their existence massive or minuscule? Were their possibilities in their lives limitless or limited? I think we know the answer to this. Think about it. If you can't read, there's a pretty good chance you can't write either. So what does that mean? I will tell you what it means. You will find yourself in need of others a lot, needing people to read things for you, needing people to write things for you. We all know somebody who had the mother who couldn't read, and the kids had to read letters for her, fill out forms for her. The dad, the uncle, who was illiterate. The only thing that they could do was count money. So what ends up happening? Many of these people remain stuck in a loop of not knowing things, not learning things, not understanding things. Because let's be honest, much of the things we learn outside of living them through life experience, we learn through reading. Even your vocabulary and vernacular will suffer if you cannot read. This is more than likely why many of us don't have a command of the English language, because we don't read it. Sentence structure, use of words and terms, adjectives, adverbs, nouns, and pronouns. It has to make it difficult to form coherent sentences when you don't have the words to use. What else explains many of us being in the United States 30, 40, 50 years, exposed to English, but still have no command of the English language? But people from faraway lands can come here not speaking a word of English, but somehow speak perfect English in 3, 4, 5 years because they read it, they write it, they learn it.
Yeah,
And where are they learning it from? From books. You know, those things that we have a tendency to stay away from. You know that saying, if you want to hide something from a Negro, just put it in a book. Put it in a book. A substantial group of us, unfortunately, have proven this statement to be true. Like it or not, like what I'm saying or not, like me or not, many of us do not read. More than likely, because many of us can't read, didn't read as children. So of course we grew up into illiterate adults. Now, how many of us have a 200-word vocabulary, when it should be 20,000? Not able to get our points across or express ourselves, trying to thread a sentence together without a vault of words that usually turns into a tossed word salad. It's like trying to sew a rip in a piece of clothing without thread or a needle. So you end up using crazy glue just to hold it together. And of course, it doesn't come out correct. Our children running around destroying the English language, learning to destroy it from their damn parents because their parents destroy it and or don't emphasize the proper use of it. Being told and taught that using proper English and grammar is somehow a Caucasian thing. Pronouncing your vowels, your consonants. We say that's us talking white, as if having the ability to use proper pronunciation is only reserved for white people. What kind of sense does that make? There are about 171,000 words in the dictionary. It's something to be said about us when we know less than 1,000 of them. But we have to go back to our parents. How many of our households that have children in them can you walk in and see big screen TVs, PlayStations, iPods, Jordans, Louis Vuitton bags, but not one book. No dictionaries, no encyclopedias, not even study materials for the children to use for their homework. Thousands of dollars invested in a bunch of crap that will more than likely be out of commission or out of style in about a year, instead of being invested in something that will benefit our children for a lifetime. I think we are more concerned with keeping them satisfied when we should be concerned with making them prepared. I mean, what kind of job can you think of that does not include reading or writing, for that matter? Because those two things kind of go together, like peanut butter and jelly. Even if the job doesn't require much reading or writing, how do you get the job in the first place? Can't fill out a job application if you can't read it. And if you can't read it, you definitely can't fill the thing out because you can't write. Even if you wish to be an entrepreneur, you're going to have to read and write something. Just knowing the colors of your inventory isn't going to be enough. And more importantly, being illiterate sets you up to be taken advantage of, especially when you have others reading and writing for you, because they can be telling you anything, have you signing off on anything, because you don't know what's there. All you have to go on is what's being told to you, due to the fact you don't have the knowledge you would have had if you knew how to read. Get it? Being forced to have others make decisions for you, decisions that others normally make for themselves. Just think about it. How many of us would be doing better if we had better reading and writing skills? How much better would our children be doing in school if instead of buying our 2 and 3 year olds little baby Jordans, we were buying them little baby books and reading them to them, instead of having a joystick in their hands, but if more of them had a book in their hands? Instead of knowing how to operate a touch screen before kindergarten, maybe our children should know how to read before kindergarten. Instead of leaving it to the public school system to shape our children's minds, why aren't we shaping them? Is this not important enough that black children should at least know how to read? I guess we would have to consider literacy to be important to make it a priority in our children's lives though, right? We would have to possess the ability and desire, also the interest, to make sure the children can at least have basic literacy functioning, which means we probably should have that ourselves. If we were to put that damn joystick down and find some joy in reading, possibly we could add some more words to many of our limited vocabulary, if you would. Put that smartphone down, which should be called a dumbed down phone, by the way, and pick up a book or a newspaper from time to time. Some of us can possibly build up some mental muscle, some mental fitness, because reading is jumping jacks for the brains, folks. Trust that. Anyone who says different probably can't read. We know as black people a plethora of history, culture, and the plight of our people is hidden from us on purpose. Things we should know about ourselves, we don't. Things we need to know about the history of this country concerning us, much of that we don't know. Much of it easily obtained because it's hidden where? In books. You know, those things that shouldn't be just found in a library or a school. We should have books in our houses, in our children's lives, and in our lives as well. Stop treating books like vampires treat a crucifix. Touch it and our flesh starts to burn. Who knows? If it were more reading going on in black society, it might be less of the nonsense going on in black society. Possibly more wealth, less poverty, more intellectuals, less idiots, more creativity, less crime. Think about what a well-read black society could do, could achieve, could accomplish. Reading is more than fundamental, brothers and sisters. Reading would make black society more functional. All the more reason for us to start xoDus those books that are missing from black society.
Dark Exodus.
Open your mind. Open your mind. Open your mind. Open your mind.
The
Yeah, X.
To a child who doesn't read, the world is closed.
You know.
Open your mind.
Only from TPOT Media. Open your minds.